Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Gorecom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important developments at their companies. With us today, we're happy to have Denis Laviolette. He's CEO and director of Goldspot Discoveries. This is an artificial intelligence mineral exploration company. Now, the twist on today's show is this company is private. It's actually an investee of N3D Capital, which trades on the CSE under the stock symbol IDK. N3D Capital is an emerging merchant bank led by none other than Sheldon Inventosh, famous financier. They're focusing on investments in best-of-breed, early-stage, disruptive companies, primarily in the high-tech and biotech space. Having said that, Sheldon hasn't forgotten his resource roots. He's actually evolving them in today's tech-driven world, and that's where Goldspot come in, because Goldspot Discoveries is bringing artificial intelligence to mineral exploration. They developed a machine learning algorithm capable of significantly improving mineral exploration targeting. The algorithm is proven to mitigate investment risk and increase the success rate of exploration. More than just lip service, the company was a finalist in the 2017 Disrupt Mining competition and took second place at the 2016 Integral Gold Rush Challenge. Why we're talking to the company today? Here is the headline. N3D Capital announces its artificial intelligence investment, Goldspot Discoveries, reports major milestone at Sprotts Mining majority-owned Jarrett Canyon project. That's what we're here to talk about. Denis, welcome to the show.
Thanks, George. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Excited to talk to all of the followers about Goldspot. It's a very exciting time, and so let's get on it.
Well, I got to tell you, we're excited because we've never had an artificial intelligence company on here, let alone artificial intelligence in the mineral exploration world. That's almost the last spot we would have thought we'd be talking to somebody. So I'm going to do a deep dive, but before we get there, for those of us at home, and including me, who haven't studied artificial intelligence, give us a layman's brief explanation about how you're using AI in the mineral exploration world.
Well, I mean, in summary, George, mineral deposits form for a reason, and long and short of it, we're able to link all of those reasons in a network of variables. So we have, all of the exploration variables, the geology, the geophysics, the remote sensing information, the alteration, the mineralogy, all of the various spectrum of data that's been collected over the years, and we're able to put that all into a system whereby the system is able to determine correlations to known deposits. And so in the case of mineral exploration, what we're looking to do is to fingerprint large data sets with existing deposits and have the system determine which areas have the highest prospectivity potential based on the correlations that that the system derives with all of the different variables. And certainly the human is only capable of doing so much, looking at so many maps simultaneously and overlaying things and drawing in those correlations. And so a computer does a much better job at that. So that's really what AI means to the mineral exploration business, and that's what we're trying to establish.
So in a nutshell, Denis, you guys are doing a massive data dump into an algorithm that at the end of the day makes computations millions of times faster than humans and able to make faster, better decisions, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, like what we try to do is there's the technology aspect of AI, and you can see it every day. You have the Google self-driving car. You have, Amazon is able to tell you what products you want to purchase. So the AI shift in the world is AI technology or machine learning technology is not a new thing, but it is new to the mining space. And so what it really takes is that domain expertise. We need to be experts at understanding not just the machine learning process and how to manipulate that to our advantage, but also understanding the input data, the geological data, the geophysical data, all of this stuff, and basically translate that into a language that the computer can understand. And so that's what Goldspot really does. And all deposits are created differently. They're all there's some similarities on a district scale, in terms of what factors are involved in say gold mineral occurrences and or any other precious metal or base metal, but or commodity. But basically what we look to do is to fingerprint on a local scale. If we're looking for more local scale deposits or deposit potential, we want to take the information for deposits that are in that area and train the computer with those types of deposits and look at the broader data package, whether it's regional remote sensing data or all the rest of it, and put that all into the system. But the Ferrari that is AI developed by big companies is certainly capable of handling data and performing machine learning tasks. Goldspot, what we are is we're like the drivers. We're like the the race car drivers that are able to properly.
And that's where I think you're underselling yourself too, though. I mean, you brought up Amazon, for example, earlier. In my limited capacity of the AI world, I think it's a lot easier to take variables such as where is George clicking, what is he looking at, and as a result, we can determine what else he might like. Those are pretty. There's not much variability there. It's just inputting. I looked at that book, and determines that I'd like to buy that book most likely. But where you guys, I think, are really excelling is you don't have that kind of certain variables. You're going into environments where there are different types of geology, different types of rock, different types of everything. So that's why I think you guys are really, really impressive. Well, on that note, let's move on to the deep dive. So Jarrett Canyon Project, which is majority owned by Sprott Mining, has had a historical resource of 12 million ounces of gold with over 9 million ounces of past production. So to me, it sounds like they've been doing just fine without you guys. Why did you get the call? Why did they think that they needed your AI to help them out?
Well, when they took on the project, when Sprott Mining got involved with the project a couple of years ago, the project has experienced different vintages of mining and exploration, and over the course of 30 plus years, the hundreds, if not thousands, of geologists have walked that ground. Multitude of companies have operated on those deposits in that district, and we're talking about a district here, not one single mine. And so, somebody needed to come in, and they did a great job of assembling and getting all that data kind of tabled up. And so somebody needed to come in and basically have a look at everything from a 10,000 foot view and say, okay, you got this mine over here, all of this regional geochemical data, all of this regional geophysical data, all of this information, different vintages of soils, different vintages of drilling, miles of drilling. I think, offhand, they had over 60,000 drill holes on the project. And so, talking about an insane amount of information, and there's a tremendous amount of useful information in there, and there's information in there that's not useful. And so we had to come in. We wanted to rebuild a geological model for the district from the bottom up, and we succeeded at doing that. I think, and that involved creating a new structural environment for the technically savvy listeners out there. That involves creating a proper stratigraphic model that's property wide, and linking the parameters that involve that are I guess proxies for gold mineralization in a multitude of these locations, and bringing that all together and finding something else. And so let's
put that into context for a second, Denis. So not to interrupt, but let's put that into context for a second, which is ballparking it. How many man hours do you think you saved the company at the end of the day? So if you had to get traditional geologists to do their traditional work and start sifting through all that, and how many? Do you have a ballpark in how much time and energy you actually saved this company, and how much you'd be saving, other companies in the same boat?
It's difficult to quantify exactly, but it's a lot. Definitely years could have been spent rebuilding this the way it's been done. And this is really the problem.
And how long did you guys take? Months?
Yeah, we took about 5 months to do the job.
Okay, that I want to make sure people at home understood that, because you're talking about years versus months. The acceleration is just unfathomable.
Well, this is it. And the other thing is too, and this is kind of the reality of why we are a necessary, I guess, step forward in the mining space, or the future of the mining space, I think, is AI, utilization of AI techniques to analyze big data. The problem is that you have, a lot of these mining companies have a tremendous staff of great geologists and people, and they're always worried about, how we got to feed the mill, or we got to keep this mine going, or we got to keep that going. And where they're focused on, short-term exploration goals. They're focused on what matters tomorrow and what matters in 6 months from now. Like there a lot of geologists, if you pulled them aside and said, do you have some theories? Do you have some ideas? It's amazing how many people, when you go to these sites, have these brilliant ideas that they want to explore. They've, found a correlation between this and that, and they would love to be able to visualize it. And they just don't have the time in their day from the, going in, punching the clock, going underground, doing their routine, taking their samples, coming up, papering it all up. There's very little time in the day for a geologist that works for a big company to step back and actually analyze what is going on and all these, all the data that's being collected. So it's
all the work's being done, whatever's right in front of their nose at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. And these are data-rich environments. Data gets collected for 30 years, say, and never really gets looked at, right? Oftentimes people will come in, consultants will come in, they'll spend, 6 months, 2 months, 2 weeks. And certainly in my experience as geologists working for companies in the past, we'd have a consulting firm come in and do a job that I've wanted to have done, I've wanted to do myself for the longest time. I just simply didn't have the time in the day, and I wasn't willing to come in on the evenings
every weekend for the next year. So let me ask you a real short, powerful question.
Sure.
This was a massive undertaking. You took months, and you had to dump all this data and do all this work. It is at the end of the day an art as much as it is a science, and you didn't know how good of a result you were going to get at the end of the day because you're relying on your algorithms and machine learning. So, in a short answer, how satisfied were each of you, both Jarrett Canyon and Goldspot, with the result?
Well, we're tremendously satisfied with the results. The final results, I think we were all kind of stunned by what sort of opportunities and what sort of potential is there on the project and still remains on that project in the district scale. And really just to see how certain areas were neglected, not because of a lack of potential, but just a lack of analysis, really, and just that extra work. And so they're tremendously excited about having the fully functional geological model that we've created for them. And there's a lot of utility in just having all of that data combined, categorized, usable, user-friendly for their mining department, their geological department. So from that perspective alone, targeting aside, they're tremendously excited about the deliverables that we were able to generate just in terms of a functional model for them. On top of that, I think we're all very excited and very, very, very keen on seeing the outcome of this drilling program that they're about to embark on.
And I'm glad you bring that up. Second last question, which is, are you truly disruptive today, or are you almost there? You just want to see how the drill results shape up from the targets that you provided, Jarrett Canyon?
I think we are disruptive today. I think it's the science of artificial intelligence, the science of machine learning, the data science analytics component. That's a proven methodology, if you will. You can see that from looking at the Google self-driving car, or looking at Amazon and how it can, predict what you like to buy. We know machine learning as a data science tool is very powerful. And so I think we are disruptive in the sense that we're not playing with something we don't fully understand. We're not playing with something that's, a garbage mangler where we throw all of this data in and we just hope that it spits out a positive result. We're playing with something that we fully understand, and we use it to our advantage where usable. And in some cases, it's not usable. So it's not a one-size-fits-all tool, but it is something that is necessary. And for that reason, I think it is disruptive. It's not the norm in the business right now, and it should be.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said it, but for everyone at home, in my opinion, the cat's out of the bag. This is just the way things are going to go. And Goldspot is at the forefront, and not just because they're saying it, but you see, being hired on by great companies like Jarrett Canyon, awards, got a lot of acknowledgement. Here's the last question for you. You're a private company right now.
Right.
So we at home can invest in you. And I don't know what your path is going to be in the future, but in the meantime, if we do want to find a way to have a vested interest in you, that's got to be through 3D Capital. 3D Capital, led by legendary financier Sheldon Inwintosh, owns approximately 22% of your common stock. What has it been like? How important has it been to be in the 3D Capital family, working with Sheldon, for you to move along your business objectives and goals?
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, I've been with Sheldon a long time, and I mean, there's no arguing the doors that are open to Goldspot, the networking, the contacts, all of the, the access to capital, the access to people like Eric Sprott and Sprott Mining and Greg Gibson and these gentlemen that, are without being under Sheldon's umbrella, it's very difficult for small companies or entrepreneurs to get access to that network. And I think that's probably the strongest attribute that comes from partnering up with Sheldon and 3D Capital. I mean, is tremendously supportive, providing us lots of guidance, lots of directional input. And yeah, long and short of it, the networking is something that nobody has, not like that.
So we're going to have you on again because the Jarrett Canyon is going to be, have they started drilling or will be drilling soon?
They will be drilling soon. So they're just putting their provisions in place to get all the logistics lined up to get everything going. So
all right, because we want to have you back when those results come out. Are we going to have a chance? Because even Jarrett Canyon itself, even though it's majority owned by Sprott Mining as a private company, will those results be shared with Goldspot, and will you be able to share, if not the exact result, at least the result, whether it was a big win or a small win at the end of the day?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. So, and if I'm ballparking here, it sounds like mid-November, you'll have a pretty good idea of how everything shapes up.
Yeah, that's really where we're sort of anticipating to have that first preliminary result from our work. And so certainly right now we're pretty confident in what we have, and we know that they are confident in what we have, and it's just a matter of testing these things now at this point. So yeah.
All right, well, when that interview comes, I'm going to make sure at that point, given your confidence today, and if everything comes back as expected, at that point we're going to have the bigger conversation. Everyone at home can anticipate this for the future, which is how do you see the future of Goldspot? Because to me, it sounds like if everything goes well, you've hit these milestones. I think this is the last big milestone that you want to achieve. To me, it sounds like you've got the potential to go any way you want. You can do work for the biggest mining companies in the world. God knows there's no shortage of that for technology like yours. Or I see the possibility of you doing your own work at the end of the day and finding or improving your own deposits and making investments and all that. So I won't ask you that, but I think that's a great teaser for where we're going to go at our next interview. But I really want to thank you for being on here today.
Thanks for taking the time, George. A pleasure to be here.
No, the pleasure's all mine. You guys are, forward thinkers. You're cutting edge, and it's great to see the resources sector going this way. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's a great thing for the investment community at the end of the day, because if Goldspot artificial intelligence becomes ubiquitous across the board, it means all those people watching at home that are invested in their own resource companies, all small cap resource and large cap, can at least see the process accelerate as opposed to these long waiting times. So if nothing else, I thank you for doing that for everybody.
Okay, thanks. Well, hopefully we can. Yeah.
You've been watching Denis Laviolette. He's CEO and Director of Goldspot Discoveries. The company is an investee of 3D Capital. That's the merchant bank that's led by legendary financier Sheldon Inwintosh. The company trades on the CSE under stock symbol IDK. For more information about the company, make sure to get to Goldspot's website. Just punch in Goldspot Discoveries and you'll get there. And make sure you visit Agoracom at the IDK Hub and Discussion Forum to keep up to date with what's happening at Goldspot. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.